All right, welcome guys. Welcome to today's live stream. Good to see you all in here. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. So we're gonna do a normal, regular market update right here. We're gonna look at the markets. We're gonna look at the legacy markets, crypto market, of course. We're a little bit more focused on the crypto markets, altcoins, and Bitcoin. And of course, we're going to look at the news as well, because we have a lot going on this week in terms of central bank interest rate decisions and stuff like that. So before we start, I just want to say that I have a pretty good deal for you guys. So you guys know that my main trading platform is PrimeXBT, and they are also the ones sponsoring these live streams. And the regular discount code that I'm giving out is a 7% deposit bonus. Whatever you're depositing, you're getting 70% bonus off that deposit. But I've talked to them and I've managed to get a 10% deal on a select number of codes. So if you're interested in getting those codes for 10% bonus, you can DM me on Twitter. It needs to be on a newly created account though. So if you don't have an account on PrimeXBT today, or you want to create a new one, you can use those codes and you will get on the first deposit, you will get that 10% bonus. It's a pretty good deal if you want a little bit extra trading capital. It's basically free margin, if you will. All right, how are you guys doing? What do you think about the markets? Do you think we're getting close to bottom on Bitcoin or on the market? I want to, let me know in the comments. Do you think we're, getting closer to a potential bottom for the market, or are we going to see more blood, more bearish market price action, market structure in the next coming months or weeks? Or just give you, I want to hear you guys' ideas on what you're thinking, and if this is not the bottom for the next couple of months, why? And maybe if it is the bottom, what's the reason for that? It's nice to get some sentiment here. And my personal feeling, we're not supposed to trade our feelings, but we're watching the news, we're watching the chart, watching price action, and we get ideas for on what we think the market is going to do based on what we're reading and seeing and all that. So I think it feels right now in current situations, it kind of feels like we're gonna have a fairly long time left until we put in a major bottom in the markets, right? Because I do think that the scenario that we are in right now, we have higher inflation, and even if inflation kind of is showing signs of peaking or putting in a top, or becoming more even, if you will. I do think that the Fed is going to continue to raise high rates, right? And they're going to continue with their quantitative tightening for quite some time. They've been very clear about that, right? Which means that they started hiking rates and it gave no effects whatsoever on inflation, it seems. So they need to be very much more aggressive. So we'll see when inflation actually starts to top out, and even when it does, I think they're going to continue, and it might take a while. And it probably, like, from where they start hiking rates, it probably takes like 6 months or more for that to actually have effect. So we have to see, like, when does that actually come into effect. And I mean, the current situation that we are in right now is a risk of environment. So Bitcoin, for example, is not magically just going to pump from nowhere, right? And when we're going to look at Bitcoin, and I have we're going to be covering this short setup that I posted this weekend, and we also right now have possibly a new short setup actually setting up right now, so we're going to look at that as well. And remember, if you're not following me or if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and like the video, and please hit the like video. It's really going to help me to activate that YouTube algo and get more people into the streams, so I'll be able to help more people, and we're going to have more fun. More people, more fun. All right. So let's start off by first looking at the news, right? So we got to look at the news because we have something. We're not going to look at this person. We're going to look at the news. This is the news right here. The economic news calendar, right? So what do we have happening today? So we had the Swedish Riksbank raising hikes this morning. I believe 75 basis point is what they came up with. Let's see here. We have do we have that one here? I don't think so. Weird. Should be here. Anyway, never mind. But the more interesting things we have today is obviously we have the core inflation rate for the Canadian dollar. We have RBA meetings minutes, which is the Australian one, and then tomorrow we have something huge going on, right? And that is the FOMC economic projections and the Fed interest rate decision. And then after that, of course, we have the Fed press conference. Now, this is very important. So why is this important? Because this is where we will know at which rate is the Federal Reserve going to hike rates. And there's basically three options here. Most people predict a 75 basis point hike, which is basically 0.75%. You have also some people predicting a 50 basis point, which I think is very unlikely. And then you have people predicting 100 basis point, which is basically 1%. So the market seems to be pricing in a 75 basis point hike. If that happens, we probably won't see any insane moves. If you look at the last CPI data, the numbers for the last CPI data coming out of America, it was much higher than expected. Well, not much higher maybe, but it was higher than expected. People were expecting I think it's slightly smaller increase in inflation, but the real inflation was actually much higher than people expected. And that caused the market to absolutely just kill itself, right? Because with inflation rising higher than expected, the chances that the Fed will continue their aggressive rate hiking is obviously higher. The probability of the Fed being more aggressive in the quantitative easing is much higher when inflation goes up. So there is the possibility that the Fed will come out with a 100 basis point hike, which would be very, very, very bad for risk on assets. And risk on assets, basically what I'm talking about is the stock market, Bitcoin, that sort of stuff, right? And for us, I know for most of you, the interesting part here is Bitcoin. How will Bitcoin react to a 100-point hike? It's gonna dump, and it's like a 100, like it's not very likely. Remember, the market is anticipating a 75 basis point, right? Well, Hans says 75 would be good news. Well, good news, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Good news short term would be 50 basis point. That would be like that would cause risk assets to pump, right? But we're not going to get that. We're most likely not going to get that. I see no reasons to think we're going to get a 50 basis point. 75 basis points, 0.75% rate hike. Better than, it's better than death and destruction, if you know what I mean. So it would be not affecting the markets too much, but 100 basis point, wow, we're going to see new yearly lows most likely, and so Bitcoin is probably going to drop below 17.5, right? So you look at Bitcoin. I mean, you look at the S&P 500. If that happens on Bitcoin, the S&P 500 will most likely create new lows as well, right? And I think even if we get a 75 basis point or 100 basis point, we're still going to see new lows, in my opinion. We're still going to see new lows. And the bottom in the market, the bottom of this bear market will most likely not come in until the Fed clearly states in a very clear manner that they're now going to start pausing quantitative easing, quantitative tightening. Not quantitative easing, it's quantitative tightening, not easing, obviously. So when they're going to stop hiking rates and when they're going to do being less aggressive with taming inflation, that's when we're going to put in a bottom in the markets, in my opinion. And there's no use trying to time the bottom, guys. There's no. God damn it, my coffee is. So I don't have any more coffee. I think water. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so that's what we're expecting to happen in the next couple of weeks and months. We're expecting more downside. I'm expecting more downside, and we're just gonna trade with the trend. And right now the trend is bearish. We have a possible recession if we're not already in a recession. We have Europe going into the winter, and we have some bad economic data coming out for the EU, and we have the possible energy crisis in Europe. That's not possible energy crisis. It is an energy crisis right now. So yeah, it's we don't fight the trend. Do not fight the trend. I posted a tweet the other day saying that when price is below, like when the 20 EMA in a daily is below the 50 EMA in a daily, you're in a downtrend. You're most likely in a high time frame downtrend. And when the 20 EMA is below the 50 EMA with price below, you're in a local downtrend as well. That is not a market you want to long. So this weekend we looked at this, right? So we had prices here, and people, I saw a lot of people being like, "Oh, this is the bottom for Bitcoin. God damn it! Like this is the bottom for Bitcoin. We're going to be buying here. We're going to be millionaires. We're going to be rich." Like what are we like? What the fuck? You gotta look at the trend. You gotta look at the trend, and you gotta respect the trend, right? You can't just all of a sudden say, "Oh, this is the bottom. We're in a downtrend, and this is the bottom." Like, wait for a bullish break in market structure. Don't be stupid, right? Don't try to predict the future. Many people have tried to predict the future. They don't have any money left, right? So the ones who have, it's pure luck. It's pure luck. So don't try to fight the market. Do not try to fight the trend, right? So tomorrow, big day for all markets, including crypto, forex, everything, right? So be very careful. Yeah, exactly. I don't think we're done yet as well. And by the way, this is a student of mine. What's up, man? What's up? And look at this. Nice. Yeah, so I've just started my trading program yesterday, by the way. So I'm very happy about that. I got a good group of students, very active, asking a lot of questions. I think it's going to be really, really good. We had the first webinar yesterday on market structure, horizontal levels, and the break and retest theory. This Friday, we're going to move on to talking about the details of the system. I believe I have like 2 spots left. So it's actually not too late to join. I'm not sure if I have like 1 spot left or 2, but it's actually not too late to join. So if you're interested in that, you can send an email to support@rlztrading.com, or you can send me a DM on Twitter. The next webinar will be on Friday, and that's where I will show the details of the RLZ slingshot system, right? So that's going to be the details of the system, right? We talked about the fundamental basics of markets yesterday, and I've sent out a lot of homework asking the students to send me short examples of good horizontal levels and market structure. I then, go through those and comment on them, creating videos, going through them. This Friday, we will be talking about the details of the system, the absolute exact details of the system, entry trigger, stop loss placement, take profit strategy, all of that. And the homework after that will be to find setups, setup example. And then week number 2, we're going to talk about risk management and stuff. And that's when we're going to be starting to actually trade, right? So it's an 8-week program. It's not too late to join. I do believe that week number 2, I'm not going to accept anyone else. But at this point, I think they're still left. So send me a DM if you're interested. I do believe, like Patrick is saying here, I don't think we're done yet. Impact on the economy, business still has to unfold. Yeah, and I mean, the energy crisis has just started, right? So it will be like a ripple effect throughout the economy, throughout society, I believe, because it's going to be hard for small businesses that is reliant on energy, which is pretty much everyone, to actually run their business properly. Imagine if you have if you're imagine a scenario where you started the company, started the business after COVID, right? And you have started a production cycle or whatever, and it's too expensive. You're not making any money because the energy crisis, right? And the energy is too expensive. You're going to shut it down, and it's going to be a lot of companies, I believe, around the world that is shutting down because of that. So yeah, we have a not the best type of environment going on. And it's a quick reminder. I know I've already said that, but the 10% discount codes for PrimeXBT is going out. I'm actually getting a lot of DMs, so if you want to secure yours, I'm going to go with the ones that DM me on Twitter first, right? I already have a few. I think I have like 5 codes. So DM me on Twitter if you want a 10% discount discount code. I think I'm the only one with that. I think I'm the only one with that deal. So it's a pretty good one. Everyone else has 7%. So let's look at Bitcoin. What are we seeing in Bitcoin? Well, first of all, it's at 11. At 11, I had a lot of alerts. So let's go through the alerts. The alerts on the indicator. Let's go through that. So we have a short setup alerting on UK 100. Do I like this one? Well, I get a short signal on UK 100. I get a short signal on the S&P 500, and I also have earlier this morning a short signal on the Nike. It says Nike. I think it's called the Nike Japan 225, like the index. I wanted to take this trade, so let me go through why I did not take this trade. It's very simple, right? And I think if you take a moment and you watch this, right, it's a short signal. Pretty good short signal because it's confluent with the, it hits the midpoint of the reload zone. Looks very good, right? Looks very good. Then you have that bearish engulfing candle, stochastics RSI. Everything kind of lines up. But there's one thing about this which makes me a little bit hesitant. And I'm pretty sure if you look at this chart carefully, you will notice a support level confluent with the weekly open. So basically what's going on right here is if you buy this, and this is actually why I have the weekly open on my chart for the first time, not the first time, god damn it. This is why I have the weekly open on here. because without the weekly open, of course, there would still be a level here, but the fact that that's the weekly open adds confidence to this level as support. So if we draw a level, we can just add a level right here. You can clearly see that there's a zone here. There's a zone here. This is actually support. So if I would be taking this trade, I mean, yes, it would be a decent trade. It would be on average a 2.2R trade. Pretty good. I like it. Would obviously be in great profit right now. And I would actually, when I had that alert, I would probably put my entry on the 4-hour 20 email right here. So the trade would be a 3R trade. Very good. And it's according to the trend as well. Kinda. I don't know. Like this is, well, the local trend at least is bearish. But the problem here is if I do enter here, if I do enter right here, you're actually selling right into a support area that's confident with the weekly open. So this wouldn't be a trade for me. Remember, you might be watching this, and this is a very important note when it comes to the psychology of trading. By the way, speaking of psychology of trading, I've started listening to a book called Best Loser Wins. Let me bring up that for you. This book, I started listening to it. I have a subscription on Audible, pretty good. And like $10 a month, and you get like one free audiobook, pretty good. So I started listening to this one. Very interesting, very interesting. The intro is like really beautiful. I like this one, so recommend it. Haven't gone through it whole, but definitely recommend it. And when it comes to the psychology of trading, right? You're looking at this, and there's going to be a part of you that says, you know, let's use the replay function. There's going to be a part of you when you're watching this. There's going to be a part of you that says, like, I want to take this trade because there's an immediate satisfaction in taking a trade, you know. Because you want to be in a trade. I mean, we're all like that, right? I don't know why. Maybe we're like, maybe we're like just addicted to random rewards or whatever, and trading is pretty much random rewards. So you want to be in this trade. You're seeing the signal, and you started seeing like possible winner, possible winner, possible winner. So when you're in that state of mind, when you're looking at this, and you're like, look at this, it's a 3-hour trade, it's a possible winner, it looks very good. But then there's the weekly open, and you're like, oh, you know what? Well, just this time. Let's just take this time. Just this time, just this once. Let's take a trade and just ignore the weekly open. Let's ignore that support area. But it's not the only time you're thinking like that, right? It's not the only time. It's not going to be the last time. When you start thinking like that, ignore it. Just go on to the next one. It's better if you only take trades where there's no hesitation, when there's no feeling of maybe just this time will be different. It's never going to be different. The market will fuck you over as soon as you start letting your guard down, right? To be careful. You got to monitor yourself, right? Look at this. I have a note here. This note has been on my PC, my screen for like 5 years. It says identify your emotions, and it says follow the plan. I have 2 more which says only trade the obvious and less is more. All right, what does that actually mean? The most important one is identify your emotions. So what I do every time before I enter a trade, I read that, and I read less is more. And that is supposed to make me think that, is this trade actually worth taking? If I'm going to be taking 2 trades this week, is this trade worth being in that group of 2 trades? Is this the perfect trade? Is that the trade that's going to be in the group of the selected special trades? And then we have the, only trade the obvious. Is this obvious? Is this a trade that kind of stands out? Do I have to do any additional analysis to know that this is a good trade? If I have to do more analysis than like looking at the chart for 1 minute, in my case, maybe 10 seconds, it's not a good trade. It's not an obvious trade. It takes me, I get an alert, I look at this and I say, is this a good trade? No, it's not a good trade. Move on. Is this a good trade? No, Move on. Weekly open, support, not a good trade. Is this a good trade? No, it's not a good trade. Is this a good trade? Absolutely not. Is this a good trade? No, right? None of the alert good trade. I move on. I wait for the next round of alerts, which will come in 4 hours, right? And then one of the most important notes here is identify your emotions, right? Identify your emotions, and that is what will save you. That will save you a lot of money. When you're seeing a setup, you have to take a step back. You have to listen to yourself, and you have to really feel that, like, try to identify your emotions. And what I would say is most of the time I find myself, like, if I'm seeing a setup, I'm like, I get into this right now. Get into this right now. I go to PrimeXBT, I enter the details, like I'm stressful. I'm like, I can miss it out. I'm gonna miss out. I'm gonna miss out. I need to get in right now. I need to take a step back and I need to say, you know what? Hold on a minute here. I'm stressed. Am I supposed to be trading where I'm stressed? Absolutely not. I'm identifying my emotions. I'm saying I'm stressed. That's a negative emotion. That's a exaggerated negative emotion. I got to take it easy. I got to take a step back, meditate for 5 minutes, meditate for 10 minutes, take a walk, whatever, come back. Is it still a good setup? If I'm calm and relaxed, yes, I can take that setup, right? Why that's important is because maybe I'm just missing this support, or maybe this support is not as obvious. Maybe the support is much more obvious on the daily, on the 1 hour, which it is right here. I mean, you have a downtrend, you have a double bottom, W. Like, do you really want to buy? Do you really want to sell the neckline of a W in a downtrend? Absolutely not. It's retarded, right? But if you're stressed and you're only seeing the opportunities, right? You're only seeing the P&L, you're seeing the potential profits. You're going to say, like, I don't care about this. I don't care about this because I'm going to be making money. The problem is the exaggerated emotions that you're having is going to cause you to miss out on important details, right? So imagine, like, and I, the previous round of my trading program, I've had, like, in the last couple of webinars, we talked about psychology, and one very important aspect for me is to view your trading psychology as, like, you have a mental scale, right? So imagine if you have a mental scale with negative emotions and positive emotions, right? Your goal as a trader is to be balanced. You need to be balanced when taking the trade, and you need to be balanced when monitoring that trade. When scanning the markets, you need to be balanced. Any positive exaggerated emotions will be negative, right? Any exaggerated negative emotions will be negative, right? Because the most exaggerated positive emotion would be, euphoria and overconfidence, while the negative emotion would be fear, I don't know, depression, but fear, most likely fear. Fear and stress is the number one causes for failure, right? So you want to make sure that you're not too fearful, not too stressed, a little bit fearful, a little bit stressed, a little bit confident, maybe a little bit euphoric. Like, you gotta be balanced. You gotta be balanced, right? When you're not balanced, you're tipping the scale too much to one side, and you're going to make it much harder to identify your edge and see the details of the setup. So you got to identify your emotions and ask yourself, am I balanced, right? Am I balanced? If you're not balanced mentally, you're not supposed to be trading, right? Ask yourself this. This is very important, right? Do you think that becoming a better analyst makes you a better trader? Think about that for a second. If you're not getting the trading results that you want, would more analysis give you better trading results? Probably not, right? It's not like you're going to be like, I have a 10, I haven't won a trade for the last 10 trades, right? Let's say you're in a scenario where, like, you're getting depressed. You're like, I suck at trading. I haven't won a single trade in 10 trades. So let's learn how the MACD works. So you take 10 more trades and you're losing more money. So you're going to say, you know what? Let's learn Elliott wave theory, because that's the key to success. You're going to keep on doing that until you realize that it's not about technical analysis. It's about your mental balance. It's about your approach to the markets, because it doesn't matter what indicators you're using. It does not matter what system you're using. It doesn't matter what technicals you're using. Everything that matters is, are you balanced mentally? What type of approach do you have to the market? Do you have a probabilistic mindset? That's all that matters. I don't care what system you're trading. As long as you have good risk management and the right approach mentally, you're going to make money in the markets. You're going to be consistent and have a good mental approach, and you're going to make money with pretty much all trading systems out there. I know it sounds weird, but it's more likely than not. Right. So enough about that. Let's go through these alerts again. Not a good trade, but what I'm seeing here is we're in the risk off environment, absolutely. So what we want to do is we want to look at Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is actually, this is perfect, because UK 100 is at support. We don't want to sell support. S&P 500 is using the weekly open as support. And we then have the Nike or Japan, whatever it's called. It's okay because it's now below the weekly open, but the question is the risk to reward worth here? I'm not sure, because it's kind of hitting support. But you look at Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin doing? Let's go back here. Let's look at Bitcoin. So what is Bitcoin doing right now? Well, it's actually below the weekly open, and it's using the weekly open area as resistance. And you have a very clear resistance area right here. Let's use that wick and these candle closes. Let's extend that one. So you have a very clear resistance area right here. And you add the fibs from that high to that low. So what's happening right here? Well, they have a very clear short setup, right? Why is this a clear short setup? Well, it's testing the midpoint of the reload zone. It's using the area around the 0.618 as a resistance area. And got the weekly open, stochastic horizontal bull cross on this candle close in the 4 hour. I like it, right? I like it. So where would this short come in? Well, let's see. I also like the fact that you have that one. This would be the setup on Bitcoin, where we kind of go short here. It would be a 3.2R trade. Let's put it at 3. So let's increase the stop loss, because I'm okay with 3R trade. And the wider stop loss, the better, right? Don't be greedy. You're not going to use that stop loss. You're going to get stopped out. It's a very good risk to reward, but you're going to get stopped out, so you're only going to lose money. I like this, right? Pretty good. Now TP1, I would probably put here. Now, I haven't decided if I'm going to enter this one, because there's a couple of reasons why I'm probably not going to enter this one. I'm going to cover that as well. TP1 would be right here. So why would TP1 be here? Why not at the 0? Because if you look at the 1 hour, you can see that if this is going to be the bottom, chances are that it's going to get front ran. And this is then the proper support area. So right in the middle right here, somewhere, it's a good level. And you can clearly see here in the 4 hour candle closes as well. So usually when you have candle closes and only wicks below, I use the candle closes, because the chances are that level is going to get front ran quite high, right? Quite high. Now, TP number 2, I want to front run this area, right? TP2, I want to have around the -236. I want to front run this area right here. So let's look at this level. One tip when using TradingView is, when you're switching time frame, you're going to go back to the current price. But if you're using the replay tool, that's not going to happen. So if you place the replay tool right here, we go to the 1 hour, we're at that area. We're not at the current prices. So this is the level. This is the area where you have those wicks. If you look at daily, that's the wicks. That's the very low. That's a yearly low on Bitcoin. You get the 4 hour. This is a good structure right here. So TP2 would be around this area, right? You go to the 1 hour, kind of makes sense. I think that kind of makes sense, because if this is going to be the bottom, price is probably not going to hit that low. It's probably going to hit maybe this low, so I'm going to front run that one. So we go to the 4 hour, remove the replay tool. Where is TP1 coming? Ah, shit, that sucks. That's way too high. We want to have TP2 in this area. If we're going to go back, We're going to adjust it to that level. Look at the 1 hour. Right, so we're going to put it here. What happens if we put it here? Go back. That's better. I like that. And then TP3, well, it's just going to be down here. That's going to be the 50% TP. So now we have to calculate the average R of this. I'm using the fib tool, the range tool, from TP1 to TP2, that's 50%. From that 50% to the next 50%, that's that one. The average R of this trade would be 3.89, which would be good. I like that. So are we going to take this trade? Are we going to short Bitcoin live? Probably not. Why? Because I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm fearful, right? I'm identifying my emotions and I'm stressed. I don't know, it's the coffee or too little coffee. I don't know. Like I'm just fucking, I don't know. So usually like it's taking too long. You know, I'm thinking about this too long. You know, I'm trying to identify my emotions. Like, what am I thinking? Why am I not taking this trade? And I think it's the 50%, right? So the idea usually when I'm a little bit hesitant is I wait for the 50% to get broken and I then enter orders around the 50. So that would be the trade. I wait for a breakdown and then I enter sell orders on the retest of the 50. Now that adds a little bit more confidence, right? The problem is, however, that might not always work out. If you look at the previous short where you had this, right? And this was the previous short, and I wanted to see the same thing. So price broke below, price kind of broke below the 50 here, and then never had that retest, right? It just went straight down to TP, last TP. So it might be a possibility that Bitcoin will do that as well. But there's, and then you can kind of see how there's a support level here, right? And that support level from here lines up perfectly with the 50. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for Bitcoin to break down. That's going to be the trade. Remember, this is the average exit price. I'm going to keep that on here because that's the average exit price, right? I'm going to take this. I think it's a scammer. Just give me a second. So I'm getting a lot of scammers. They're I think my phone numbers is out there. So I'm getting a lot of scammers calling me, and basically what they're saying is like, "Is this Jonatan?" And I say no, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, wrong number." But sometimes I answer with Jonatan, and they're like, "Oh, you have an account with us, and you need to withdraw your money. You have like $10,000, and you need to withdraw those." I'm like, I don't have it. I don't, like, fuck off. I'm like, well, you have to take the money, and you have to go to this link. They send me an email because they have my email for some reason as well. So they send me an email like, you got to go to this link and you're going to withdraw your money. I'm like, I don't need that money. You take that money. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. You have to take the money. They're so bad. They're so bad. Anyway, this is the idea that I'm watching on Bitcoin. If I enter on the retest of the 50, the trade with the same stop loss now becomes a 2.5 R stop loss, right? So not not perfect. $2.8 here. I think that's better. That would be good. So this is the trade we're looking at. So I'm going to add an alert right here. Edit, and I'm going to say BTC breaking down. Look for shorts. Look for short on retest. 0% fib, right? So that's the possible trade I'm watching in Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is going to break down, I imagine there's going to be a lot of other altcoins possibly breaking down as well. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. They're obviously calling from a call center where it's like people are screaming all over the place, and I'm like, yeah, I'm yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. And they don't even know, like, you ask them questions about what this one time I told them, like, yeah, I clicked the website. I have so I told them, like, I clicked the website, and I'm like, I've connected my ledger to the address, and nothing's happening, you know. And now all of a sudden, I don't have any money. I had millions in here, and now I don't have any money. I don't know where it is. And they panic, like they absolutely go crazy, and they panic because they think that they've stolen all our money. But then they look at their, like, they think that they've stolen all my money on the ledger. So they look at their wallet, which is supposed to have all of that money, and it's not there. So they like panic, and I panic, and they panic, and it's like crazy. And then I hang up, and they start calling like crazy. And I answer like a couple of days later. I'm like, yeah, you ruined my life. You ruined and shit like that. And they're like, but we don't have the money. I gotta record that sometime. Like, they're so fucking clueless. Anyway, so if Bitcoin breaks down here, and we're gonna see a break and retest for a Bitcoin short, then that might also lead to a possible short on altcoins, right? So a couple of trades we took. Look at that. BNB is about to print a short setup right here. So this was a trade we took on BNB, a short trade on BNB last this weekend. TP1 hit, TP2 hit, TP3 almost hit, but got stopped out here. It's a decent trade. Now we're approaching a good level for a new trade here on BNB. So let me look at that. But then again, we have that weekly open as support, which I'm not liking. Usually, I don't want to trade into the weekly open as support. I don't want to be selling support. However, looking at Bitcoin, if Bitcoin is going to print that short setup, I might take the trade on Bitcoin and trades on altcoins as well, because usually the trades on altcoins are going to be much higher risk to reward. This one's going to be it's going to be pretty much the same. They could probably get away with a 3R trade on this one. So that's going to be BNB. And I have alerts set up on this one. So if this one prints a short signal, I'm going to get that through Discord. Let's look at AVAX as well. AVAX is definitely one of the weaker ones out there. We took a short on this one this weekend. Hit TP3. It's currently not printing a short signal, and it wouldn't be a trade this one anyway, because it's not testing the proper moving averages and everything. KNC, well, I don't know. I don't know what happened with KNC, but it's dead. Sol, is Sol perhaps printing a short signal? Looks pretty good. This could definitely be a possible trade. So I'm moving that up. I'm going to move all of these down. XMR. You know, I do much more prefer to short something that where the weekly open is closer to TP1, right? Or where the weekly open is closer to TP1, or at least, you know, price being below the weekly open when I'm shorting. Let's see if we can find something here. Link is below the weekly open, but the pullback is not as high. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I posted a tweet. It's Friday, I believe, and I said that Link, and I think it looked like this, I believe. I was trading up here, and I said, you know, Link is in a pretty good looking, or maybe here, I don't know. Yeah, probably somewhere around here. And I said, you know, Link is in a pretty good local uptrend, right? But if Bitcoin dumps, this is probably a very good area to short Link, right? When you're hitting that one right here, you can clearly see how Link is in a very clear local uptrend, but it's a very clear resistance right here, and Bitcoin was at resistance. So if Bitcoin dumps, this is a great area to short Link, and it gave a pretty decent bearish engulfing daily candle. So if you want to trade on the higher time frames, there's a very good system where you're basically all you're looking at is a bearish engulfing candle on the daily at a major high time frame support area. So this one right here and this one right here. So and it might have turned out to be a pretty good entry here. And if Bitcoin drops lower, Link will obviously also drop lower. Not the cleanest chart, but it's just one thing you could look for. Let's look at VeChain. The pullback is not strong enough. You see here that it did hit the 50, but the risk to reward, like you want that rejection to happen up here, right? That's where the good risk to reward is. But I mean, VeChain, I mean, it's gonna dump with everything else. The question is, where do we have the good risk to reward? Matic, also same market structure. Here's one. You can see how it's well above the weekly open, and the weekly open here might actually be used as TP1. So here's a pretty good short opportunity on an altcoin, and we can also add somewhat of a trend line here. Now, you will have people saying that's not a proper trend line, but I don't care. So you can add a channel here. You can see how it kind of makes sense, right, to have something like that. Trend line kind of going through here kind of makes sense, and then you're hitting the low part of that trend line here. Gonna add the fibs, rejection inside the short RLZ. You're right now printing a bearish engulfing candle. This, like, the risk to reward on this one is very, very good. So if the altcoin market is going to drop, this is definitely something where you might want to take the risk. I think the risk to reward is actually quite good even with that stop loss. Not really. So above that wick, yeah, you can get a pretty good entry here. And TP1 on the weekly open, yeah, that might actually work. So this would be like a good trade. But I'm not really sure, but I'm going to keep it on my radar. Just going to pull that up here. All right, Sen, too low. Cardano, too low. BAT, same with BAT. We want to see, like, this is good. FTT, right? Because it's in the reload zone. We want to see that rejection preferably happen inside the reload zone. It's happening on FTT right here. But the weekly open is too close. Right, Rune. See if we have something. Cake. I don't know what's going on with Cake. Why is Cake in an uptrend? This is worth keeping. Do I like funded accounts? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's it's a, you know, absolutely. There's like funding, you know, online prop firms out there. We can look at FTMO. This is the gold standard in funding firms, right? FTMO, the absolute gold standard of trading firms. I mean, prop firms, online funding firms. So basically, they have a challenge, right? Most funding firms have a challenge. Some, it's a little bit different, but FTMO has, you're going to be making 10% profit in 30 days. And if you do that, you then have the next part of the challenge is 5% in 60 days. Just think about that, right? Just think about that for a minute. Their whole business model is built upon, because you got to buy the challenge, right? 200K USD, like they can fund you with a 200,000 USD account, but it's going to cost you like $1,000 USD to do the challenge, which is quite a lot of money, right? And I think over 90% fail. I think 97% fail. So their business model is like they're making a huge amount of money on the fee from the challenges, and then when they find an actually good trader, they're going to make some money on him as well, right? Because they're going to take like, first they're going to take 20% of the profits, then 10, so you'll get 80 or 90% of the gains, right? So if you get a 200K account, you're going to be able to make a lot of money. But just think about this challenge for a minute. 97% of people that try this fail. They fail at making 10% profit a month. Think about that. They fail at making 10% profit a month. So you got to start thinking about what's realistic to make in the markets. Is it realistic to make 30, 40, 50% consistently per month in the markets? No, it's not, because then 97% wouldn't fail at making 10% profit a month. But yeah, do I like funded accounts? Absolutely. Hell yeah. It's really, 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 really good for people who does not have the capital to trade themselves. This is a godsend opportunity for new traders. Like, you got to check this out. This is the shit, really. All right, cake. I got cake on my first list here, just because it's a relative strong to the rest of the market. Let's see if we can find anything else that's strong. Probably not. So we want to see good pullbacks. Good pullbacks. Atom is now moving lower. I think, looking at cake, I think it's just a matter of time before it starts dumping. The altcoin perp. All right. Man, these, I gotta change my phone number. These scammers are insane. All right, that's it for the altcoin market scan. Not really looking at a lot of altcoins, and I don't really need to anyway, because I'm just gonna enter like one or two. But BNB, IOTX, and Soul, I believe, are the three most important ones right here to watch. IOTX is dumping right now. What's Bitcoin doing? Let's look at Bitcoin. That's actually, I probably need to add Bitcoin to this list right here. Maybe I should use the perp contract. Or should I look at the spot one? Yeah, let's look at the spot one. Right, so I have my alerts on BTC. I like the Bitcoin shorts. I might take that one. Right, so now let's take a quick look at the legacy markets before we go. And if you do enjoy this stream, if you do enjoy, me taking a look at, live trading and taking a look at possible setups for you guys and kind of showing you the process in which I scan the markets and find setups, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel if you want more content like this one. I do really appreciate all of you coming in here and joining. If you have any questions, any specific questions on how I trade and why I trade, just let me know. Right, so let's go through the legacy markets. I had a long setup on USD/JPY, which I closed at a small loss yesterday, which was a bad idea, but it is what it is. I didn't really like the market structure that we were seeing, so never mind. AUD/USD stopped out at entry yesterday. It looks good, it looks pretty good here for a short, but it keeps testing this level too many times. That was a good short signal, like the second retest, but now we have like the third retest. What happens if it gets retested again? That's the fourth retest. We don't want to go short on the fourth retest. Let's look at the market right here. GBP NCD. Overall still downtrend, right? But then if you look at this local trend, it's definitely breaking market structure here, and it's very strong. So what I would be looking for on GBP NCD is to potentially go long on this trend right here. So that's something I would be looking at on GBP NCD. Euro NCD, well, God damn it. I had it long on this. Okay, I could have longed this whole trend. It's a bit nerve-wracking, honestly, because I went long, like this was the setup. This was the setup. That would have been a good trade. And if I would have let this one run, it would be very, very profitable, right? And for some reason, I don't remember why, but I removed orders for this one for some reason. I can't remember why. I have it in my journal, but it's like really, it's bad, stupid behavior. Because it's like, it's really, it's really good. You have that long signal here, everything aligns. Then I just decided to drop, like pull the orders for some weird reason. It is what it is. Trend is strong though. So we're looking for something like this. We want to go long here. Yeah, it's I don't know what's going on with NCD. It's not the strongest currency right now. Look at 80 NCD, Euro GBP. Well, even the pound is stronger than the New Zealand dollar, which is frightening. You should be worried about that. Let's go GBP USD. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at this. Oh wow, this is not a bullish chart. This is not a bullish chart. Look at this one on the weekly. Oh wow, it's dying. It's dying. On Oanda, it's at the very lows. And this one goes back to 2002. It's never been this low. Never been this low. Not looking good for GBP. All right, so let's do a quick look here. Euro JPY looks very similar to USD JPY as always. GP, CAD, NC. Look at the NCD USD is absolutely dying. Why? I don't know. Short signal on gold, but I don't like it. Use 100, getting a short signal here in 1 minute as well. GBP CHF. Let's go GBP CHF. Yeah. Wow. This is a downtrend. Like that's a downtrend. This is on the weekly. That's the definition of a downtrend. That is insane. All right, so we're getting a short signal on US 100. Wait a minute. GBP CHF, is that a short? Is it? No, I don't like it. I don't like it. It's too much of a support here, right? US 30 hitting weekly open as support. I think honestly, well, look at this. Look at this. USD CAD, interesting long signal. However, I don't like it. I honestly think, and now of course I'm looking at this and I'm like thinking I'm stupid not taking this trade. Right, US 100 and German 40. We have two more short signals. Like I'm really. I do really think that this is a trade I took yesterday, stopped out, giving me another short. It's just a bad stop loss placement. Did a really, really bad stop loss placement. I don't know what I was thinking here, really. Euro CHF. Look at this. All right, so you see right now, UK 100 dropping, taking out these lows right here. Euro 50 about to take out these lows. You have a short signal on the DAX, German 40. Looks very bearish. So what's happening right now is when a risk off environment where equities are dropping, and I think it's just a matter of time before Bitcoin does the same, right? Because Bitcoin follows. Well, legacy markets obviously being the first ones to move, and I think it's just a matter of time before Bitcoin starts moving here. We have this would be a good short setup, but it's too late to take this one now, obviously. Let's look at the alerts right here. We have UK 100. Is that a good trade? Not a good trade because they have weekly open as support. It would be if it wouldn't be for the weekly open and that low time from support area. So I'm removing that alert. German 40, no. UK 100, no. On this one again, now it starts to look interesting. Now the S&P 500 is starting to look interesting because it's dropping below the weekly open. But then again, if the S&P 500 is looking interesting for short, then Bitcoin will also be interesting in terms of shorting. And look at this. It's now looking very, very good for a short setup to be lining here. So I'm going to be waiting for 2 hours on the next 4-hour candle close. If that closes below the 50%, we're going to put short orders on the retest of the 50%. Now, important to note here is that we have obviously tomorrow the FOMC meeting at 8 in the evening. So we have the whole day today and the whole day tomorrow to manage that Bitcoin trade. We do not want to have any risk in the market during this time, 30 minutes before the meeting, or well, I'd say 1 hour before and 1 hour after. We do not want to have any risk in the market at that time. So what that means is we're gonna move stops to entry on that Bitcoin setup before the meeting. What will be a good TP for Ethereum? Well, let's look at that. A good TP for Ethereum probably 0 in my opinion. But let's look at the actual chart here. All right. Well, according to my system, my trading system, a good take profit for Ethereum, the last TP would be 1157. You were thinking 1310. So I'm just gonna go off with what I'm thinking, and I believe they actually align very nicely with my system. So I would look at taking profits. I would divide the position up into 3. So I would take, you entered, like, let's see, you entered 1366. 1366. All right, that's actually where I would enter as well. So this would be the setup. 1366. Entry 1366. Stop loss as a TP1 would be here. Now, if you want a very, very tight stop loss, above these weeks, that would be a stupid, that would be very, very profitable trade. So if you want like a very tight stop loss and you've already entered here and like you think it's going to go good, as soon as Ethereum, like what I would do is I would put TP1 at 1296, right? 1296. TP1 at 1296. 1296. And as soon as Ethereum drops below 1319, I would move stops to entry. As soon as Ethereum drops below this, move stops to entry. TP1 at 1296. TP3 at 1236, and TP3 at 1166 for 50%. So the average R of this trade would be quite good. It would be 3.8, very good. I think you can even have the stop loss like higher, around this area, but that would be the trade for Ethereum. Now, I'm not taking this trade. I'm not in this trade because it really hit the, like, not perfect. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Now, the problem with this trade is if you get a bounce here, if you get a bounce on a weekly open and start moving higher, probably better to exit the trade. I would probably exit the trade because when the weekly open acts as support, it usually does act as support, and that's why I don't want it close to entry. All right, guys, it's been over an hour. I would like to thank you all for joining, and I very much appreciate all of you coming in here and with all your positive feedback and all your positive comments. I really do appreciate every single one of you, and I would not be doing this if it weren't for the the love I'm getting for you guys. And I have a mission in life, and that is I'm absolutely passionate about trading, and I just fell in love with trading in 2017, and I want to spread that, the love that I have for trading and the life I'm living today. I want to spread that, and I want to teach you guys how I trade. I want to teach you guys how it doesn't have to be very complicated. And I'm getting like almost on a daily basis messages from you guys saying how I've helped you in trading and how you follow my live streams and you started trading like me. I see people trading, showing charts with my color scheme and all my indicators set up exactly as I am, and like it's such a fantastic feeling seeing that, honestly, because when I started in 17, I went onto YouTube and I saw people teaching other people to trade, and I'm like, what if I can have an office? What if I can have an office and I can trade for a living and I can stream live teaching people how I trade? That would be like the dream. And now I'm here, I'm doing that, right? And it's possible for you guys to do that as well. I started from nothing. I had no money, no job, no nothing. I, recently, when I started out, I recently became sober after a life of fucking madness and addiction, and now I'm doing this. I'm living the dream, right? So it's very possible for you guys to do that as well. And this right here, this is actually a good ticket to getting capital to trade with. If you don't have the capital today, if you can prove that you can trade, they will give you the capital necessary to trade full time. So there's no reason, there's no excuse. There is really no excuse. If you love trading, you want to develop your trading game, there's money out there. There's funding. There's investments waiting to fund you if you can prove that you can trade. So there's no excuse. There's really no excuse. All right, I gotta take a break. Take care, and see you guys in the next one. Bye.